In this video, I'm going to show you how you can immerse yourself in French by creating your own immersion without having to travel to a French-speaking country if you don't want to. Salut, I'm Marie, I'm a French native teacher and I help French learners to understand and use the French language. If you are serious about learning French, you can join us on the French Club to know more about how to learn French and get notified of each new videos and workshop. Before we start with this video, let's talk about a few myths about immersion. Myth number 1, immersion is always the best solution. I've said it before on this channel, immersion is not magic. It's not a magic technique, it's not perfect, and it is probably not for you if you are just beginning to learn French. It works best when you already know a bit of French and when you are at least a minimum comfortable with what you know to recognize it when it is said and to use it when you need to. If you are just beginning to learn French, I encourage you, instead of watching this video, to go and buy my book, Learn French on Your Own, where I detail what you should concentrate on when you are beginning to learn French. Myth number 2, immersion is going abroad. No. Immersion has nothing to do with going abroad. I've met people who lived in France for more than 20 years, people who couldn't speak more than just a few words of French, people having businesses in France, interacting with French people who struggled with the simplest, most basic French sentences. On the other side of the spectrum, I've met people who never set a foot in France, who were blowing my mind with their level of French. Immersion can be done in France, yes, that's true, and it's probably easier to do it in France as well. But it can also be done, and be done well, without having to travel or move to another country. The reason for this is my answer to myth number 3. Myth number 3, immersion is passive. That's where a lot of learners go wrong. Immersion is not about going to another country and silently, magically soaking in the language. We're not plants. We don't use photosynthesis. Immersion is not passive, it's action-driven. And here are the actions that you can do in order to immerse yourself in French. In the end, there are 4 main types of actions that you can do. The easiest kind is getting entertained in French. That's watching movies and TV shows. And if you're not quite sure how to do that, I have a whole masterclass dedicated to the topic that answers questions such as what movies to watch, how to watch them, what to do with the subtitles, etc. It's instead of watching English-speaking YouTubers, it's watching French-speaking YouTubers. If you're not quite sure where to start or how to find French YouTubers, I have a list of a few of them in the description of this video. It's reading your books in French. That's actually a good thing to do for your French because you will learn plenty of vocabulary that way. I made the list of books that you can download in the description as well. Or you can check my playlist that is called French Readings, where you'll find all my videos where I read to you in French. I put a link somewhere around this video. It doesn't have to be books either. It can also be newspapers or blogs. Anything that you read or any content that you consume in English, you can find a French alternative. Now, if you want to go a step further, you can also educate yourself in French, and it's very easy to do so those days online. You can follow an online course in French, for example on Udemy, which is a platform a little bit like Skillshare, where you'll find plenty of courses on different topics. I haven't followed these classes, but I've heard good things from Axel Paris classes on design. I will put the link to his classes somewhere. But you can also find courses on business, painting, animation, photography, and lots of different topics. You can also simply use YouTube to find someone teaching something in French, like knitting, sewing, or cooking. Reading non-fiction in French is also a great idea. Generally, the vocabulary is a little bit simpler than in a novel, and you can learn plenty by reading a book on rhetorics or history or a biography of someone famous. Consuming content for entertainment or education is a great step already, but immersing yourself in French is above all finding a way to speak French regularly. That can be with meetup groups or clubs, and it doesn't have to be done in person, it can also be done online too, obviously. Or if there are nothing of that sort around you, or if you didn't find anyone to speak to online, you can hire a French tutor, a student that will be more than happy to speak to you for half an hour a couple of times a week. If you are too shy or not confident enough yet, you can find apps where you can chat in French. I'm thinking of apps such as Tandem, for example. or Discord groups. That part of your immersion, speaking, really is the most important one. And speaking, communicating in French should be your main concern if you want to create an immersion for yourself. Finally, if you want to progress as fast as possible, you should also be producing content in French. That means writing or speaking. Keeping a journal, for example, is an excellent idea. Writing what you did during the day, what you think tomorrow will be like, and what you're feeling right now might sound a little bit challenging right now, but that's exactly the right kind of challenge that you're looking for when you want to progress and when you want to immerse yourself in French. It doesn't have to be writing though. You can also record yourself speaking in French, telling a story, for example. A harder and maybe more challenging way to do this would be to start a YouTube channel like Gracie, who is absolutely killing it with her French. I'll put a link to her channel somewhere around this video. She gave herself the challenge of speaking in French for 5 minutes every day for a year. And she's creating a video about her progress every month to keep herself accountable. You can do something similar, or you can choose to vlog in French once a week. Those 4 types of activities are what you need to create a successful immersion, to surround yourself with French. Would you be in France or at home? If you need more guidance for your immersion, I talk extensively about my experience of it in my book that you can buy with the link in the description of this video. If you enjoyed this video, you will surely find value in this playlist with my best tips on how to learn French. À la prochaine!